More on this, New York Congressman Peter King, chairman of the Homeland Security Subcommittee on Counterterrorism and Intelligence. Congressman, good to have you with us today.
Thank you, Mother.
Good morning to you, sir. Obviously, this is chilling news to learn that there could be 71 members of ISIS, 23 said to be ready to attack, and we've learned, at least from these early reports, and all of this still needs to be substantiated, that they may exist in a number of states that we just pointed out. What do you think?
All of this has to be fully investigated. I'm not certain they have the 71 here. However, I am very concerned about ISIS because we know there's been almost 200 Americans have gone to Syria to fight on behalf of ISIS. We have to worry about them coming back. Some of them may have come back. There could be others went over there we don't know about. So this is something we have to constantly be on our guard about, have to constantly have surveillance on. Now, whether or not this claim is accurate, I kind of doubt that. I think they're trying to take advantage of the situation. But having said that, the situation could even be worse because, again, there's thousands of Europeans who have also gone to Syria to fight for ISIS, and they can come into this country without even getting a visa. So this is a real threat. Whether or not the specific threat is real is almost irrelevant because we have to assume the worst when we're dealing with ISIS.
Yeah, indeed we do. When you look at the Twitter account and you look at the ways that they are communicating, a couple of things always seem to bubble up. One is that most of these people have sort of tripped the wire of law enforcement somewhere along the line. We know that the roommate of the instigator in the Texas attack had been arrested several times for petty crimes. Then you sort of combine that with the Twitter activity that we're seeing, social media activity. But the big question is, how do we have the right to pursue and investigate these people in a way that will possibly prevent them from carrying out an attack?
I think the best thing we have to do is coordinate much more between the FBI and the local police. The FBI can do the best job in the world, but they have, 17,000 agents. There's no way they can monitor or follow all of the possible suspects in the U.S. They have to be working more with local police. In some cases they do. But for instance, with the Boston Marathon bombing, the FBI did not notify the Boston police of the concern about the older Sinai brother.
That's what I'm asking about, Congressman. What has changed? Are you aware of any procedure that has changed in that regard? For example, if the FBI interviews somebody, as we know they did in this case back in 2010, is it incumbent upon them? Do they have to let the local law enforcement know about this person? Is that a rule?
They certainly should. As part of the Joint Terrorism Task Force, the FBI should be sharing all this information. Now, in fairness to the FBI, I believe they're restricted often by the Justice Department itself, which puts these unnecessary restrictions on them as far as looking at mosques and that type of thing. I'd say the best cooperation probably is in New York between the FBI and the NYPD, because the NYPD has such a large presence, and they did have a lot of surveillance going on in Muslim communities. Now, some of that's been cut back because of the Civil Liberties Union, the New York Times, Mayor de Blasio. But the fact is that that's what has to be done.
And does that leave us in a more dangerous position, those cutbacks?
Absolutely. There's no doubt we are more, certainly nationwide, the fact that there is not more cooperation and active activity by the Justice Department in dealing with local police, yes, that does make us more vulnerable.
God forbid something happens in this country, and then you and I have the same conversation again, that it was a lack of shared information that might have led to the apprehension of this person. I do want to ask you about something else that I know is very personal to you. We showed the Mets game earlier today and the tribute that was given for Brian Moore, who was from Massapequa in your district.
Yes.
Your thoughts on the loss of this man and the larger picture of how we look at and treat police in this country?
Yeah, Brian Moore lives about 5 minutes from my house. This has had a tremendously searing impact on the community, the entire area, Seaford, Massapequa, Levittown, all of those areas. And it is reflective. Brian Moore was a hero. He was an outstanding cop. But there are thousands and thousands of outstanding cops that do their job every day and don't get the credit. Not only don't get the credit, they're attacked by so many in the national media, so many politicians. They're taken for granted. And I just hope people who criticize the cops, the Al Sharptons of the world, for instance, that they would see what Brian Moore and his family have gone through. I was in the hospital with him on Sunday. There's no agony to describe what these mother, the father, the cousins, all of them, and the entire unit of the police, what they go through when something like this happens. But you don't see Al Sharpton, you don't see the national media talking about it. They would much rather focus on other stories where they can be critical of the cops. Most of those cases are untrue, but even if the bad cases were true, 99% of cops in 99.9% of their dealings with the public do a truly outstanding job, and their lives are the one on the line. Not ours, but theirs.
Thank you. Thank you for speaking out on their behalf and on his as well. Well put. Congressman Peter King.
Thank you,
We'll see
Mother.
you next time.